Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the topic that has been crucial for both public and personal health, HIV test kits. We'll cover what they are, how they work, what the results mean, and the importance of the considerations for anyone thinking about using one. By the end, you should feel empowered to make informed decisions about HIV testing. Let's start with the basics. What is an HIV test kit? How does it work? And why do we need them? An HIV test kit is a private, convenient way to check your HIV status from the comfort of your own home. Rather than visiting a clinic, you can use these kits to get your results quickly and discreetly. They are important tools that you can use to fight against HIV, giving people more control over their health decisions. So that covers what HIV test kits are. Now let's discuss how they work. Let's break down the process into 2 steps. Step 1 is collecting the sample. There are 2 types of tests. The first test is similar to a COVID test. Rather than swabbing the inside of your nose, you'll swab the inside of your gums. The swab will collect saliva that will transfer into a developing solution, which will determine if there are HIV antibodies present in the blood. The second type of test is similar to a blood sugar test. The individual will prick their finger and use a small needle called a lancet to collect a blood sample. You will then need a small dropper to transfer the blood sample into the testing well. Then you will add a developing solution, which will then tell you if the body is detecting any of the HIV antibodies. It's important to think of antibodies as a defense system. When the body detects a foreign virus, such as the HIV virus, it creates these antibodies. HIV test kits are used specifically to determine if HIV antibodies are in the blood. And if they are, it is likely the person has HIV. Step 2 is reading the results. You wait 20 to 40 minutes for your test to develop carefully, and you will read the results according to the manufacturer's instructions. Typically, if a test develops 2 solid lines, that means that the person is HIV positive. However, it is important to read the manufacturer's instructions with great detail because these results and these tests vary. Now that you know how to use an at-home test, when would you use it as opposed to seeing a clinician? One of the reasons would be privacy. It would be no need to visit a clinic to discuss your concerns unless you choose to. It's convenient. It's convenient to be able to have an option to test at home at any time that suits you. This is suitable for people who work odd shifts, as well as people who live great distances away from quality health care. It also helps by giving you immediate answers of your HIV status. It'll help you make more informed decisions of your relationships, and it makes it easier for you to get answers quickly and quietly to disclose this information to partners. Remember, knowing your results is an important step in taking care of yourself and those who you care about. At-home HIV test kits are simple, private, and an empowering way to do just that. Now let's talk about what a positive and a negative result means for you. A positive result does not guarantee that you have HIV. Though at-home test kits are 99.98% accurate, it's important to still seek medical care. A positive result means that HIV antibodies were detected, but a confirmatory test is still needed in a medical setting. Do not panic. That is the most important thing. Seek medical advice from your primary care provider and further testing and support. A negative result is similar to a positive result. Just because it does not appear on the antibody test does not mean that the person does not have HIV. With that being said, as discussed before, these tests are 99.98% accurate, but it's important caveats to consider. If you have recently engaged in high-risk activity, your body may not have produced enough antibodies to be detected by the test. Consider retesting after a few weeks or consult a physician for further guidance. There's an important term for the amount of time that it takes to get an accurate at-home test. This term is called the window period. The window period is the time between a potential exposure to HIV and when the test can reliably detect antibodies. This period can vary anywhere from 2 weeks to 12 weeks. Testing too soon after exposure can result in a false negative. If in doubt, retest after a few weeks. Now, let's discuss when you should use an HIV test kit. After potential exposure to HIV, such as unprotected sex, sharing needles, or any other potential exposures to contaminated blood. It should also be performed as a part of a routine sexual health screening. You can perform an HIV test kit if you are starting a new relationship and want to know your status before becoming intimate. You can also take an HIV test kit for peace of mind if you're feeling anxious about your risk. And you can buy these HIV test kits at most major pharmacies such as Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS. They're also available on online retailers such as Amazon. There are also limitations and considerations when taking an HIV test kit at home. Accuracy is always something to consider because these tests are highly accurate, but no test is perfect. It is wise to always follow up with a positive result by going to a professional medical setting. It is also important to consider the emotional impact of receiving a positive result. It's important to have a positive support system around you and have resources available to you. In addition, it is important in some regions that regulations are considered with self-testing. Check your local guidelines about disclosing your HIV status according to your state. It's important to know your status because early detection allows a time for timely treatment, and it dramatically increases health outcomes. Knowing your status helps to prevent the spread of HIV to others, and regular testing should be a part of maintaining sexual health for yourself and your partners. After your test, if you receive a negative result, you should continue practicing safe behaviors. You should retest after the window period if you think you were recently exposed. If you receive a positive result, do not panic. Contact your healthcare provider for a confirmatory test. Seek support from trusted individuals or organizations, and inform any partners that you have had contact with. In conclusion, all HIV test kits are powerful tools for personal health because they offer privacy, convenience, and empowerment. Remember, a single test is just one step in your health journey. Stay informed, practice safe behaviors, and seek medical advice when needed. Thank you for taking the time to learn about this important topic.